Welcome back to the Rulebook, everybody. This is episode number 40. Back on the couch, okay? Lots of stories to get into. I just have to complain really, really fast because as I record these episodes, girl, I have to close my windows, turn off the air. Yes, I have the air on in the middle of winter because this is New York City and they have the heat blasting. And I, unfortunately, am not the one who's in control of the temperature of my apartment. I know. You would think New Yorkers pay so much money in rent. You would think that we could have the luxury of controlling the temperature of our own apartment. No, absolutamente not, unless you live in like a new build or something like that. I don't live in a brand new building. I think my building was built in like 1953. Anyway, I have a freaking radiator, okay? And I have a little window air conditioning unit, and now I have to put the air conditioning on because it is so hot in my studio apartment that I literally cannot sleep at night. Anyway, probably TMI, but yeah, I mentioned that when I went to Greece this summer, you couldn't flush the toilet paper. But you know what? In New York City, you can't control how much heat you're getting during the winter, and I don't know what's worse. No, I'm not going to lie. The freaking toilet paper thing was an absolute nightmare for me. I hate that. I think that is so gross. But okay, let's stop talking about disgusting things. But yeah, seriously, New York, get it together. I shouldn't have to be a billionaire to control how hot it gets in November in my own freaking apartment. So anyway, the reason I brought that up is because when I film this podcast, obviously due to audio reasons, your girl can't have the air on, plus the heat, plus the damn windows open. No, I'm shut in, so I'm boiling. So just know, if you ever questioned my love for my audience, how dare you? I love you very much, and I'm schwitzing. I think that means I'm hot. I'm sweating. That's a New York lingo. Anyway, welcome to episode number 40. Okay. Lots of stories we want to touch on. Lots of interesting things in the news. So let's go to the other side of the pond, darlings. Let's go to the English Channel, right? Because we haven't heard about the royals in a while, which is, it's not a bad thing, right? No, I think it's a bad thing. Obviously, our news cycle is being dominated by other things, much more heavy things. So, on a lighter note, let's go across the channel. Across the pond to the channel. I don't know. I've never been to London. But Prince Harry is making headlines again due to his relationship, I guess, is estranged. Can we go out on a limb and say he is estranged from the damn family? I think he is. Apparently, the Sunday Times mistakenly reported that Prince Harry would not be attending King Charles's the 75th birthday party this month. I guess it was November 14th, so it's next week. And Harry clapped back saying, hey, excuse me, British tabloids. I don't know if the Sunday Times is tabloids, but excuse me, British media. That is not true. You do not have all the freaking details. And the fact of the matter is, how can I attend something to which I wasn't even invited? Gasp. I don't blame Harry if his invitation really was lost in the mail. I'd be pretty annoyed. Also, to not be invited to your father's 75th birthday party. What is that? Anyway, the articles that I read basically said that, even though he attended his father's coronation in May, we all know that he literally had like a whirlwind trip that day. He did not bring Meghan. He did not bring Archie or Lilibet. Look at me with the facts and the info. I didn't even know I knew this much. It's all here. So I was pointing to my head if you're listening to this on Spotify. But the fact of the matter is, he said, look, I wasn't invited, so how can you say that I've declined? And you know that thing on TikTok? I think there's a video going around, or there was a video going around being like, if you're not invited, don't go. If they didn't, whatever, don't ask. It's like this list, and I wish I had the video, but it's like this list of stuff of like, what not to do when somebody freaking like slights you like this. And this is a slight. But anyway, what I was saying was, when he went for his dad's coronation, I think his trip was under 24 hours because he went to London from California and then he turned right around. Homie didn't stay. Homie didn't have a hotel. He didn't stay at the palace, castle, however you call it. He was in his Dior suit. I believe it was Dior, Christian Dior. And he jumped right back on the plane. I gotta check if he flew commercial or not. I'm assuming he didn't. I don't know if Harry has a jet. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe they took Tyler Perry's jet. That seems to be like a thing that they do. I don't know. But anyway, that said a lot, right? And he also was sat in the third row. I remember covering this on my TikTok page. So he was sat in the third row, and I was like, wow, he really went through all that travel. And California to London, girl. I don't know. Maybe for flying private, it's different. I don't know. Can't speak to that. Not yet. Maybe one day. He clearly looked a little silly traveling all that way to sit in the third row. Like, what are we doing? You could have FaceTimed Harry. Whatever. It's a coronation. But so now to find out that he wasn't even invited to the 75th birthday party at like the Clarence house or something like this. I read things and then I randomly remember the Clarence house. That's interesting. But I like that Harry stood up. He was like, that's not true. Girl, get your facts straight. You want to report? Fake news. You want to report on me and my fam? Get it together. But apparently, even for the coronation, it's not like he was directly invited by his father. Like, he wasn't sent like a text message or a phone call. No. Actually, it was like a formal invitation sent by like, the press secretary, whoever they got working over there. So it's very informal. It's like, that's your son. You didn't like double check that he was coming. You didn't like directly speak to him about this. Like, I get it. You're busy. You're becoming king and like whatever. But how are you not going to text Harry? How are you not going to like talk to Harry directly? You'll have your people call his people. That's your kid. What do I know? I'm not royal. We'll never be royal. Okay. I'm sorry. Why am I always singing on this? Okay. So, yeah. I guess Harry and Meghan remain estranged. And, obviously tensions have been high since he released his memoir, Despair. And they did that documentary, I believe it was on Netflix. And then I think they had their podcast, but it got canceled. I don't really know what the deal is. But, they've been talking. They've been rehashing. And the details came out. I actually didn't read that memoir, but I don't know. I'm sure he spilled a lot of royal tea. So, yeah, who knows what's in the future for them. Clearly, it's not looking great. You're not going to go to your father's 75th birthday party. Maybe he will end up attending. Maybe Charles will pick up the phone and call him, but it doesn't really look like that's going to happen. So, let's come back. Let's swim the English Channel. Let's hop back across the pond and talk about another story. Elon Musk is in the news again. Not about Twitter this time, or X, excuse me, since it's no longer Twitter, it is X. He has a new project. It's not space, but he's creating his own version of ChatGPT, which is actually going to be like some sort of rebellious version. And apparently on the website for it, it's going to be called Grok. On Grok's website, I believe, it says, if you don't have a sense of humor, don't use Grok. Basically, like, go to ChatGPT. But no one really knows what the hell he means. And he said it's going to be kind of spicy. So basically, one can take that to mean that a lot of the robots, or you've even tried it when you're doing customer service, whatever, and they have like the little chat box. How can we help you like immediately so you don't have to wait for a representative? If you write them certain things, they'll just ignore it, right? If you're like, screw you, or let me ask you this spicy question, they're going to be like, I don't understand. Like, boundaries, okay? Apparently, Grok doesn't have any boundaries. She's a boundaryless robot. She's going to answer you silly little questions. She's going to dirty text you, it sounds like. And she's going to be rebellious, and she's going to be a cheeky girl. I keep saying girl. She's a robot. But anyway, this is like his brand new idea, and only certain people have access to it right now. I guess they're just testing it out, but I'm just like, for what? Why do we need a sassy, sexy ChatGPT? ChatGPT, we're all already like worrying, like, what does this mean for our future? What does this mean, for some of our jobs, for writers, for the actors, etc., etc. And you're over here creating a spicy version. We didn't even want the first version, okay? Okay, so take your spicy version back to Silicon Valley where she belongs. We don't want her. We don't want Grok. What kind of name is Grok? I mean, look, Elon names things very weird. X. He's all into this spicy land. Have you noticed? Because usually I read an article when he had renamed X however many months ago. X obviously is like extreme, like the X is for like extreme sports, or it could be X, like X rated. So, and that kind of shit obviously does really well on the internet. If you're launching an app or you're reinventing an app, yeah, you're going to lean into like the sexy, spicy part of it. So I guess it makes sense from a business perspective to make it X in a weird freaking way. Although I don't think anybody had an issue with Twitter, with the name Twitter. But except for Elon himself. But rebranding it as X and now coming out with Grok, his spicy robot. I don't know. What is Elon doing? What are you doing? Also, I think last week it was reported that he had bought Twitter for like 40 bill. I don't remember. Girl, I'd have to look at the stats. He bought it for some high ass number and it's like 30 mil, or it couldn't have been billion. Could it have? And let's see how much Elon bought Twitter for. Let's see. Oh, okay. What? 450. Wait. Oh, sorry. Musk paid 44 billion for Twitter, acknowledging that he overpaid. And it really wasn't worth that. I guess that's why he tried to back out of that ish. And it's really not worth that now. Like, it lost value since he's taken over. Okay, wow. So I really don't know about the Grok, the spicy robot. Like, I feel like it's another bad investment, perhaps. Also, I was trying to make a video about this on TikTok, and I was just thinking, like, a spicy robot, that's what you think society needs? We want free healthcare, Elon. I don't know how many billion it's costing you to build Grok, but could you help the people, the real live humans, without a freaking spicy robot? I just, these billionaires. I don't know. This future is not look bright with the decisions that they're making with their money. Obviously, I can't really speak to that. I haven't researched enough, but it doesn't seem like enough is going back into the people. Okay, so that's just for another time. That's for a much better researched episode. Maybe Grok. We'll see. We'll see if he really launches it. We'll see what happens in that. But it does remind me of that movie with Joaquin Phoenix where he falls in love with the robot's voice. I think it was her, and it was a Spike Jonze film, probably. Weird. Only watched it once. Not the most riveting movie, but I know people liked it, and it's in my head. It's weird. It's weird. Let's just call it what it's fucking weird. Also, I love that he's just like, if you don't have a sense of humor, don't use it. But it's like, oh my God, Elon, can you just give it up? You are not that funny. The things that you come up with are not that funny. We don't really like them. You kind of fuck shit up. I mean, Tesla's great, like, but this other stuff where you just want to be known as like a funny guy, it's just not working. It's not working. Give it up. You know how you have to pivot? Pivot, Elon. Pivot away from this funny business. Okay. Oh, we're getting more and more stories about Matthew Perry since his untimely passing last week. And an actress, what was her name? Somebody named Cash. Miss Cash. I can't remember her first name. She came out and she said she was actually going to be starring opposite Matthew Perry on one of the Friends episodes where they go to Vegas, and he was supposed to cheat on Monica with her. And a day before they were set to film the scene in front of a live audience, Matthew Perry went to the writers and said, no, you guys, this is going to ruin Chandler and Monica's storyline. Chandler will never recover from cheating on Monica. And it's not like he was wrong. And the article even referenced the fact that, yeah, they already had the Ross and Rachel were on a break whole thing. So just to make Chandler cheat on Monica when they clearly were not on a break, and just because he was like a little pissy that she saw Richard, her ex. If you didn't watch a show, what are you doing? Watch a show. I believe it's still on Netflix. If it's not, girl, it's on TBS every weekday. You can find it. You can find Friends. And yeah, that was an interesting thing to come out. He was right. I don't think Chandler would have recovered from cheating on Monica. It doesn't seem like any of it was justified. Not that cheating is ever justified, but I like that Matthew Perry did that. I am sad for the actress who obviously lost the opportunity to play such an iconic part, right? Ooh, you're the other woman in the Monica and Chandler saga relationship. Damn, that really sucks as the actress. Apparently she ended up like playing the flight attendant in that episode, something, and she had a scene with Ross and Rachel instead, or just Ross, I'm not sure, but yeah. Interesting that she came out with that this week. I think it makes sense. A lot of people are talking about Matthew Perry and his dedication to helping people recover from alcohol addiction. And I was listening to the news earlier as well, and they said that his family is going to be starting some sort of foundation in his name to help people to give back. And I thought that was really, really nice. Obviously, he's still making residuals from reruns of Friends, I believe on Netflix or whatever streaming services. So good for the gang, right? So he's still generating an income posthumously. I believe I just said that right. My English teachers would be proud. I hope I said it right. If not, I mean, you guys know what I'm saying. But I was glad to hear that they're going to use the money, some of the money at least, to continue the legacy that he really wanted for himself, which was to be known as someone who helped others and gave back, especially those who were struggling with addiction and alcoholism. So that's really nice. And everything that's coming out about Matthew Perry, it's sad because you see that we really did lose someone who had a lot to give. So it's very sad when that happens. It's sad when anybody passes, but especially when someone who truly felt like they found their mission, and their mission was to help others. It's just fucking rare. On a lighter note. Well, not really on a lighter note. I've been noticing this trend on TikTok, and I wanted to bring it up. It's basically influencers getting backlash for being influencers, which you're going to say, Alex, that's not new, girl. Like, we don't like influencers, or influencers have left a bad taste in my mouth, to which I say, okay, fair. I understand. I was even watching television. I'll watch NBC News like throughout the freaking day. I'm not going to lie to you guys. NBC News Now, girl, shout out. I'll watch it throughout the day. And one of the commercials, I so rarely see commercials, but one of the commercials was like, I don't know what it was for, like a fitness app or some sort of like meal delivery service. And they had the actress pretending to be an influencer making a what I eat in a day video. And she like breaks the fourth wall, and she's like, look, this is not true. You shouldn't do what I'm telling you to do. Actually, I would never do this. Or like, I don't know, something along the lines of like, don't do this. So it was an actress. It wasn't an actual influencer. But I thought that was interesting that, wow, it's so mainstream that whatever company is paying X amount of dollars to put this on national television to like say like, don't trust these influencers, or like that's how deep it is, like this distrust and backlash that influencers are dealing with right now. So I thought that was really interesting. And then I've seen it a few times just scrolling through my For You page on TikTok. People making a lot of POVs of like, I'm the bland influencer you follow, or I'm, influencer who's taking you on her day in the life. And it's like her running a bunch of errands, which include getting coffee and answering emails, and then going for a walk, and then like doing her skincare routine and going to bed. Which is funny and like, okay, again, like fair. Some people's videos really are like that. But as I was scrolling my For You page, as one does, another girl was like, I don't understand this backlash. Why are you hating on influencers? Like you're blaming them for like this influx in consumerism. However, it's not their fault. Brands use them because they deliver, right? And also, even without them, you would still be buying a bunch of stuff that probably isn't good for the environment or whatever. So how are you going to be mad at them just because this is their profession? And like, no one's mad at you when you go work your 9 to 5. I mean, maybe if they find out more details about your 9 to 5, maybe we'll have some questions. But, that's okay, right? Whatever you're pushing on your 9 to 5 is fine. But God forbid somebody gets on the internet and starts pushing. They're automatically the villain. I mean, I've also talked about this topic, or thought about, I don't know, I've dived into this topic with other people. And especially men, they don't really have a lot of respect for the influencer job profession because it's female dominated, right? It's mostly a female dominated industry. It's mostly, I guess women pushing fashion, although a lot of women push advice, et cetera, things that are truly helpful and fucking priceless. But, you have when you hear the word influencer, you have this idea of like this vapid woman who's just telling you where you can get the best jeans, the best, I don't know, white t-shirt, and how you can look cute for fall. I mean, which honestly doesn't sound bad. This sounds like, who's that? I want to follow her. I can't lie. I am the audience. I am the target audience. But yeah, it's okay. So you're looking down at this person for what they're contributing to society, but like look at half of the 9-to-5 jobs. What the fudge are they contributing to society? Seriously. And a lot of people talk about their 9-to-5 jobs and they're like, I just sit there paper pushing, or I just sit there and for 5 of the 8 hours that I'm there, I don't do much. Okay. At least bland influencer is like, she's trying shit out. She's letting us know. I don't know. I've always, whenever I see these videos about, like, backlash for influencers, it always leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Not the influencer themselves, because, a lot of them are so young. Like, it's really hard to judge them. Be like, you know what? I'm actually, even if they're doing a bland video, it's like, hey, you had the confidence to post it. I can't knock you. Brene Brown has that really good quote. She doesn't care about the criticism she receives from the people who aren't in the field, who aren't in the arena. The worst comments always come from the cheap seats. So it's like, when you speak bad about someone, obviously it says more about you than it does about them. But you know what I'm saying? So it's just, I don't know. I hate these backlash videos about influencers, even though I've experienced influencers in real life and a lot of them are not the nicest. They are not I wish they were bland. They're spicy in real life, and they're not the good kind of spicy. They give you heartburn. But no, so I hate that that's a trend, but I think it's good that people are coming out and saying, like, well, why do you have a problem with influencers making money? Like, girl, if you have a problem with capitalism, you can rage against capitalism. Don't rage against the freaking small influencer who's pushing the lipstick that's probably your shade. Don't hate the player, hate the game, okay? And I'm going to say that maybe that should be rule number 40. I didn't get to rule this episode because I was really covering a lot of the hot topics that I wanted to cover. But I think, yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game. How you gonna single out one person? How is this fitness app or whatever commercial I saw going to try and take down influencers as a whole? What is that? What's this quote on TikTok that people say, oh, support women's rights and support their wrongs? I agree. I'm actually currently reading a book called We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers. I don't know when it came out. I'm probably late to the game, hella late to the game. And it's so good. I'm only like 3 or 4 chapters in, but basically she's going over how many years women are behind, right? We've only been in this game for 50 years plus, right? Back in the 70s, a woman couldn't even get I believe, a loan or a credit card without the cosign of her father or her spouse. Women did not have the right to build wealth. We didn't have the right to make as much as men. Well, we still don't make as much as men, but the stats are pretty ridiculous. So when I see these kinds of videos of people being like, influencers are so out of touch. Oh, please. You're anti-feminist. That's such an anti-feminist take. I know it's not actually, but I don't know. There's some part of it that's giving internalized misogyny, right? So no, you know what? The girls got to do what they got to do to make their money, honey. Let them. Don't be a hater. And I also recommend that book. I hella recommend that book because it's really enraging as a woman to read about it and learn about it, because you're like, damn, I didn't even think about this, right? Because you're like, oh shit, my grandma couldn't have a credit card. That really puts it into perspective, right? Because you think, oh, 1920, that was so long ago. But girl, grandma was alive, or great grandma. I don't know your family life. It really puts it into perspective that men have had, I don't know, I think it's 2,000 year head start. They had a big ass head start on women, okay? So don't hate the influencers, okay? The girls are just trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure it out. We didn't have those boosts that men had, okay? We're figuring it out. So don't hate on the girls making money on the internet, okay? Okay. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed episode 40 of the Rulebook. If you did, please subscribe to this podcast and follow me across all social media platforms at Serious Actress. I'm going to try to do these episodes more and more frequently. Currently, my schedule is every Tuesday. We're talking about the topics that I think you need to know, and I'm coming up with an original rule. So comment below. Tell me what you liked about this episode, what you didn't like about this episode. Don't hate the play, don't hate the game is all I can say to you. But yeah, I love you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.